The reason bodybuilders are losers is because they don't want to be bodybuilders.
It then changes from the P word to losers. I'm like, bro, you got to make up your mind. You know, are we pussies? There we go, I can get away with that. Or are we losers? And then he follows it up by saying, because bodybuilders don't want to be bodybuilders. So I started kind of looking off into the abyss. So I'm another bored a-hole here in yet another weird location, but it's literally the only place I have in my current abode, because there's a box there, there's a box there, there's a box there, there's a box there, there's a box there. There's basically a lot of boxes as I try and find myself a new home. And my tip for you today would be never move and stay where you are forever. But even with all that, there was something I wanted to talk today, and yes, it's none other than Andrew Tate. Now, I'm sure most people will have seen that Andrew Tate has been causing, well, some issues and some shenanigans recently, to the point I think he's been banned from TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I think he got taken off all of them, but I could be wrong. And that's because he has been spouting some very controversial views, and some which I would go as far to say are horrid. Now, everyone is allowed an opinion, but also everybody is allowed to react to that opinion as well. However, to try and pertain to this channel, this one just got thrown onto my Instagram feed the other day, which I did kind of interesting, because it's almost like these platforms have banned this guy, but clearly they are still feeding out content that other people have posted featuring Andrew Tate. And here's his opinion on bodybuilding.
Bodybuilders are all pussies.
That's right. Yes. There's no mincing around. Andrew Tate thinks that all bodybuilders are the word beginning with a P. Not sure what we can and can't get away with on YouTube anymore, so I'm not going to risk it. Now, instantly my eyebrow goes up because, I mean, who knows what word you want to call people that go to the gym. You can call them bodybuilders, you can call them weightlifters, you can call them fitness palace of love. Go with, right? Whatever the hell you want, I don't think it matters. But anybody that wants to take an entire group and just put them all in one box instantly makes me go, well, this is probably going to be a bunch of nonsense, and probably, let's be honest, just a sentiment to try and get reactions and clicks.
The reason bodybuilders are losers is because they don't want to be bodybuilders.
It then changes from the P word to losers. I'm like, bro, you got to make up your mind. You know, are we pussies? There we go, I can get away with that. Or are we losers? And then he follows it up by saying, because bodybuilders don't want to be bodybuilders. So I started kind of looking off into the abyss and having some sort of meltdown, because I'm like, what are you talking about? It's almost as if he's gone to some kind of speech AI, he's just typed in a bunch of stuff, and the computer has reworded the sentence, and then he hears it, he goes, well, I'm going to say it no matter what it means.
It's because they don't want to be bodybuilders. Every bodybuilder I've ever met wants to be a fighter.
Right, so every bodybuilder that he's ever met wants to be a fighter. Let's just say that I'm a bodybuilder. I like going to the gym. I've done a bodybuilding competition. I wouldn't necessarily put myself in the bodybuilder category, because I think from a stereotypical point of view, people have a certain image in their head. But I've never wanted to be a fighter. In fact, I've gone so far away from wanting to be a fighter, I'm also a professional wrestler or a sports entertainer, which is essentially stage fighting, if you want to call it that. But even if pro wrestling went away tomorrow, I would still want to lift weights, I'd still want to go to the gym, and I would still want to be a bodybuilder. I tried to get into wrestling earlier than I did, but life is life. But I started lifting weights when I was like 16 years old, and it was a good 15 years after that, until I started getting into wrestling in terms of actually doing it. Always been a fan. So those two things don't compute. Those two things don't add up at all. And look, I have tried boxing, I have tried MMA, but I've tried it from a fitness point of view, from a training point of view, you know, because I think it's good cardio, and I think it's entertaining, and I think it's fun. And in fact, a boxing person, not the right term, once told me, you know, you'll never be able to pursue this because you don't have that killer instinct. That's what a lot of people in boxing say. You've got one guy over here and one guy over there, and those two people have to try and kill each other, and it's the referee's job to ensure that doesn't happen. That's the kind of mindset you have to have, and I don't have that. But I didn't then go, okay, well, I'll go be a bodybuilder just so I don't have to. It's just absolute gibberish. It is. I've had more intellectual conversations with a squirrel.
They haven't got the balls to be a fighter. So instead they think, well, I want to look as mean as possible. And then they end up bodybuilding.
Bodybuilders don't look mean. Right. I'm trying to think. Jay Cutler, right? One of my favorite all-time bodybuilders. I mean, he's massive. He's absolutely jacked. But if we compare him to, I don't know, Danny Trejo, the Hollywood actor, I probably didn't say that right at all. I'm far more scared, in terms of looks, right? You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. But Danny Trejo looks like he could murder me, and he could kill me. Whereas Jay Cutler is just a big dude. But he absolutely looks meaner than him.
Bodybuilders are obviously afraid of fighting, but they decide to put all their time and effort and energy into the gym to try and make sure no one ever starts a fight on them because they're absolute pussies.
Yeah, I'm afraid of fighting because I don't want to fight anyone. Because what good actually comes from fighting? You're driving your car, somebody cuts you off, honk, 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 and you get into it, right? If you start punching each other into the face, nobody comes out, no one feels better. One of you's probably going to get arrested depending on how far it goes. It's just a waste of time. It's just a waste of time, but it doesn't mean, well, yeah, I guess you are scared of fighting. I can't be bothered, to be completely honest. But then I don't go to the gym to get as big as possible so that I can avoid fights. You don't have to be big to avoid a fight. Do you know how you avoid a fight? Again, have the car thing, everybody hooting. Some guy comes out going, oh, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. You just go, I'm sorry, sir. I'm really sad that that happened. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, obviously, the other person may be at fault, but if your sole purpose is to not get into a fight with that person, that's what you would do. You could be a skinny rake. You could be the thinnest man or thinnest woman or thinnest whatever on the planet and still be able to diffuse a situation. That's more about personality, and it's more about facial expressions and body language and the aggression and tone of your voice. So, look, it's so obvious that the majority of the content he puts out there is just to push buttons. And it's just to trigger you, to use a 2022 word. And that's probably one of the reasons he has got banned. Because what usually happens is, you test the waters and you test the waters. And when nobody is actually saying stop, you test it more and more and more until the point you're just in absolutely crazy territory. And you certainly do start saying things that nobody should allow. Once again, you're allowed to say whatever you want, but there has to be consequences at the same time. That's how it works. It's a very, very effective system. So, I don't think bodybuilders are pussies. I don't think weightlifters are pussies. I don't think people that want to be jacked are pussies. I mean, it just doesn't even compute in my brain. And I think it's kind of dumb. And it's also kind of dumb to, once again, always say, well, there's a certain group here, be it a religious group or a hobbyist group or a social group, whatever it may be, and so they all must be exactly the same people on the inside. And the reason that we shouldn't do that is because it takes away from the important things in life. Like if all the gyms went away tomorrow, it would be devastating, but it's more about what's in your tum-tum and what's in your brain and the way that you approach the world that counts, which is why I always say, of course the gym is important, I'm sure you should dedicate yourself to it and you should push yourself and you should have dedication and discipline. But you've also got to take it in the context that it is presented to you, and you have to worry about other things as well. It cannot become your overall being. It cannot be 100% of what you do. Otherwise, you will be miserable because it's never going to fill up that hole in your stomach. You need, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. You need things coming from all different areas in order to do that. So, Andrew Tate, as far as I'm concerned, is a very strange guy. And even given that we probably have figured out what he is doing, to be able to come up with that one is nuts. So let's say he's at his computer and he's writing stuff like, all men are trash bags and all women should do this, whatever the hell he says. And then it just pops up, oh yeah, and all bodybuilders are basically massive weaklings. I don't understand. Why can't people just lift weights without having to get shade thrown at them? Hey, look, I did see this and it made me part laugh and part get enraged. I thought, well, this is a nice weird video. We're in a weird video setting. We may as well do weird videos. And actually, I think the next video you'll see after this, we will be in my new home, so we can finally find a new place to start making these videos. So thank you very much for putting up with me. If you do want to see what I've been up to, check the video from yesterday and catch my adventures in Texas, which will be a television show that will never get made. But in the meantime, please do like the video, share the video and subscribe. Leave a comment below, spam it for all I care. Click the bell, ding ding, notification squad. Really need to fix that because notifications are not going out. There will be another video on the screen. Please do give it a click because that helps the channel as well. As does going to GorillaMind.com/Simon. There'll be a link in the description below. And if you use code Simon, you get 10% off. And I just like Gorilla Mind supplements. They're really, really, really good. And if you're looking for supplements that you want to be really good, I think they shall suffice. Also, patreon.com/Simon316 if you want to support me that way. And exclusive content will be back soon. Again, I promise you, I've had no time. You can swear at me, totally cool, but it is the case. Otherwise, on Instagram and Twitter at Simon316 if you want to call me an asshole to my face, kinda, or through the magic of social media. And I'm on Cameo, and I believe that's it. We're not pimping merch at the moment because it's in a box somewhere, and I don't know which one it is. But you take care. I appreciate it talking to you, and I'll speak to you again soon.